TV, radio and journals are the best methods for manipulating the masses. With images, articles and TV programs, the media don't confine themselves to inform, but, over the time, they implant in people's mind trends, cultures and opinion, direct to a way of thinking established by those in power. Also, is given less importance to the public events, the strikes, and to every situation that could cause the desire of changing people's mentality. In that way, every person is isolated and isn't able to take a stand. These people end up following the crowd. In the biggest regimes of the history, like the Nazism in Germany and the communism in Russia, these techniques have been used to bend the people to the will of the state. Today, there is the internet and the social network, but how could we be controlled in the future?
It started with the censorship of books. Then they went to censor TV shows. Then they moved to the internet. Up to where can they go to spy us? The Positive ID Corporation in 2004 got the approval from the FDA, the US Food and Drug Administration, for selling its brand new device, the Very Chip. This chip's size corresponds to a 10-cent coin's size. It is normally implanted in the shoulder area. I bet many of you will be wondering, why is he talking about this chip? I'm talking about this chip because its main purpose is to provide an ID code of 16 numbers that identify the person who has it implanted. This ID code is linked to an external database which stores the complete identity of the person. It stores information like the position by using the GPS system, the entire clinical record of the subject, and many more informations. The problem is that since this is a RFID chip, anyone who has a RFID chip reader can grab our most sensitive data. However, as the years have gone by, this chip sparked a lot of controversy, and nowadays this project has been given up. But what will happen to the people if one day this project will come back to the surface? Will we still be free? Until then, we can only do our best to try to keep our sensitive data as secret as possible. But instead of using a chip that sparked a lot of controversy, why not use a common object considered harmless so far? In the past year there were put up for sale a new kind of device, the smartwatch. This new device has been produced from every one of the most known manufacturers such as Samsung, Apple and Motorola. Among the many skills they also have the ability to store our biometric data, like heart rate, blood pressure, and in future they will be even able to store glycemia and blood oxygenation. These data get stored into the data centers of the manufacturers who realized the device. But what happens to all these informations? Are they safe in some encrypted servers? Or are they being used from the government entities for unknown purposes? Why should they spy us with things that we can see and touch, like smartwatches and chips, when they could easily do it in complete secret without us knowing anything? That's why they launched the spy satellites right outside the atmosphere. Together with TV satellites, weather satellites and many others, in recent decades have been developed new types of satellites for a specific purpose. USA started using them in 1970 for military and spying applications. These satellites are being used nowadays for general spying, and they are able to do high-resolution photos, intercept communications, ensure compliance with bans on nuclear testing, and at last, detect the launch of missiles.
Now let's talk about how could be our future if the mass control gets real. We can only imagine what might happen to the human race, but some writers and movie directors try to make it more real with books and movies of dystopian genre. Dystopia is the vision of a negative and tragic future for humanity. Hunger Games is a book trilogy written by Susan Collins, from which Gary Ross derived 4 movies. The story takes place in a nation known as Panem, established in Northern America after the destruction of the civilization by an unknown apocalyptic event. The nation is divided in 12 districts, controlled by the main town, capital city. This works dealing with the mass control with fear, oppression, and violence.
I volunteer as tribute.
V for Vendetta is a graphic novel written by Alan Moore, set in a dystopian and post-apocalyptic version of the United Kingdom in the 1990s. In this dystopic future, a fascist party exterminated its opponents in concentration camps and now rules the country as a police state. Media are controlled by government, and the minorities are discriminated for breed and gender. V, an anarchist who wears a Guy Fawkes mask, tries to realize his plan to liberate his country from the totalitarian regime. At last, let's talk about Matrix, a 1999 movie directed by the Wachowski brothers. Neo is an hacker that discovered Matrix, a virtual world created by machines. These intelligent machines were built by humans at the beginning of the 21st century. Then they have rebelled, enclosing most of the population in capsules and projecting into their mind the Matrix. Neo's mission is to liberate the world from the oppression of the machines. This movie expresses the fact that humanity is not ready to create other intelligent forms of life.